This is Supernatural Selection on DeviantBehaviorRadio.com, hosted by Kevin the Bastard. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of Supernatural Selection. I'm your host, Kevin the Bastard. With me this week is Mike the Skeptic. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm not bad. Been a little under the weather, in that for some reason I keep sneezing and having, just general sinus problems, you know?
Yeah.
And this is making for excellent podcasting subject. So, Mike, it's been a little bit since we actually really talked about anything, it's a term I'm looking for, mind-bogglingly stupid. You and I.
Yeah.
We both agree for the most part that something happened with the Flatwoods monster. You know, maybe it was an owl on top of a tree, and like a meteor. But, you know, something happened. These people saw something. It freaked them out.
I mean, even if it was just, hallucinations.
Okay,
The human mind is a
terrible thing.
Unpredictable thing.
I was wanting to go with a terrible thing. But, yes, that's very true. It's a varied thing. And we haven't talked about anything this stupid since Time Cube.
So, we're now venturing into the realm of just bullshit.
Oh, dude.
Up.
Yeah, I mean, it makes for some great stories, but let's just go ahead and say it. Our topic this week is the Hollow Earth. Now, the idea of the Hollow Earth has been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been around, the modern, everybody always thought, well, hell's right underneath us, or Tartarus is right underneath us, it's underground, that's where the dead go, because we bury our bodies. But the modern version started actually shortly before the Revolutionary War in the 1770s.
Yeah.
When various scientists decided, this fucker's hollow, man. And that, of course, if it was hollow, there's got to be something there. Kind of like when everyone was like, well, there's a moon. There's got to be, weird bat monkey guys on the moon.
Sure.
Okay. Logical. For the time. But the idea really is that the interior of the Earth... Now, there are some theories that say, there are caverns within the Earth that creatures live in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that the Earth is, in fact, a hollow sphere with a sun in the center with continents on the inside and possibly oceans and a whole bunch of, vegetation and animals and all this fun stuff. And the term we would apply to this is, of course, pseudoscience. Now, this isn't nearly as accepted as the idea of the flat Earth has been in the last 10 years.
All right.
But there are those that still defend it. And it is also believed by a lot of New Age people. And we're going to get into a little bit of that. But
Can I address my problem with the term pseudoscience?
Okay, sure. Is it that it has the word science in it?
I feel it gives it too much credit.
Okay, what term would you like to use instead of pseudoscience?
Bullshit.
Okay, have you got a more scientifically viable term for it? Super bullshit, perhaps? But yeah.
I mean, I know it sounds way too credible, but I know really it means
it's
bullshit.
Not real. Pseudoscience literally means fake science.
Bullshit.
Yeah. So, it was sometimes defended up until the 19th century. But now it is no longer scientifically viable, of course, because it's stupid. But it is still brought up a lot in conspiracy circles.
Yeah.
And, of course, you would get to the inner Earth by 2 holes at the North and South Pole.
So 1 at each pole?
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, man. 1 at each pole. And if you look at these old 1950s, what are they called? Like these old, like early photographs, there would be like these big black circles. Have you seen those photos, Mike, of the poles that supposedly show the holes in like Antarctica? And I think it was like fucking radar or something that just happened to leave a black space. And people were like, look, there's the hole. That's where the Nazis went.
Yeah.
And I really want to reiterate, that's where the Nazis went.
The Nazis.
The Nazis. And the Nazis didn't go down there just on a whim. There's allegedly a whole civilization within the Earth, according to one theory. Because as I said to you earlier this week, it's usually always Nazis.
Yeah.
Because that's where the Ariana live.
The who?
The Ariana, which are a people who are basically the air. Let me back up a second. What we're going to talk about first is one of my favorite, just completely made up stories attributed to Admiral Byrd. You know, the famous polar explorer?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so there is a journal, oh my God, of Admiral Byrd that says that he found the polar holes and flew into them, which, how's that work?
Flew in with what?
Airplanes.
Those are big, we're talking like huge holes, not like...
massive fucking, like, big enough to fly, like, a squadron of planes through, which he did.
Or claims to.
Well, this book claims to.
Yes.
Yeah, because this is not by Byrd. Byrd was a scientist and an explorer and was not in the habit of writing it like pulp fiction. I don't mean the movie. I mean like, you know, pulp serial books. And I'm willing to wager he didn't use like 3 paragraphs at the end of... paragraphs. 3 exclamation points at the end of every sentence in his own journal.
Maybe he did.
Look, being a journaler myself, I can tell you right now, I typically don't use exclamation marks a lot in there. Hell, I barely use question marks. But anyway, so they flew into this hole, and suddenly there's just, you know, a fucking jungle on the inside of the Earth. And I don't know how gravity is supposed to work at this point.
Yeah, that does throw up some questions.
Like, even in Kong versus Godzilla, I'm sitting here going, this isn't how any of this should work.
That just means the Earth's crust is, like, really dense.
Maybe there's, like, gravitanium in the Earth's crust.
Gundanium.
Geki Gundanium. Or Tex-Mexium. Science. So he flies in and fuck gravity, and he's in this jungle because that makes perfect sense. It's cold on the outside, so it's obviously gonna be warm on the inside, like a I don't know what, like I guess a refrigerator.
Yeah,
but backwards. And as he's flying,
that means it has a hot side and a cold side.
It keeps a hot side hot and the cold side cold.
Well, we just don't know how it knows.
We don't know how it knows. So he sees like mammoths in the jungle.
We're not talking about like mammoth hooters, right? We're talking like really mammoths.
We're not talking about big Yeti naturals. We're talking about giant hairy elephants with big tusks. And as he's flying,
you know, hairy elephants, that could mean something else.
Ooh. Yeah, maybe he's into that.
But the tusks, you know, that throws me off.
Yeah, they just got buck teeth. So as they're flying and exploring, and he's apparently got time to write in his fucking journal while flying this plane, these
multitasking
discs fly up. They look like flying saucers.
Oh, he stumbled into a disc golf game.
He did. You know what? That actually makes... I just imagine him stumbling around a disc golf field drunk, or whoever wrote this doing that, and then just decided, no, it was Byrd, man. He did this. So he... These two ships fly up next to him. They're UFOs, and in the journal, I love the way it said, "They're markings. They're close enough for me to read now. My God, they're swastikas." So...
UFO Nazi. Nazi UFOs.
I know. Ain't it great?
Nazi flying saucers.
So these flying saucer Nazis...
Wait, what year was this supposed to be?
1950 something, I think. Yeah. It was in the 50s, like late 40s, early 50s, after the war.
Yes.
Yeah. And the guys who brought, I need to point out that the guys that brought this book forward as proof of the inner earth said, no, we in no way want you to think we're Nazis. So these ships guide him to a rainbow city.
So they're gay Nazis.
Well, it's like, you know how you get like plastic and it's got like that petroleum thing going in it? It's all rainbow. It's like that. It's like a plastic city.
Pride Nazis.
Pride Nazis. I don't even want to put those words together, but here we are, recorded saying it. And he writes in his journal, they're coming up to the door. They want me to exit the plane. I comply. ... This is like the Castle Arg thing from Holy Grail, where you wouldn't take the time to like chisel out Arg as you're dying, kind of thing. So they take him out, and they open the door, and there's these big, tall, blonde, strapping fellas, like, you know, grown-up Hitler youth that are like, hello, Admiral Byrd, you will come with us, please, to see the master. And I read that, and I'm expecting a dude wearing a black robe with giant red hands on him.
Yeah.
So they go, and the master's telling him, oh, you know, we tried to communicate with you during your big, great conflict, this World War II, and, you shot at us, and then you set off the atomic bomb, and now we will come and conquer your people if you don't stop using atomic bombs. Also, Hitler was keen.
What?
Yeah, they were like, yeah, no, man. Fucking Nazis. Hell yeah, man. Fucking A. Okay, I've apparently broken you with that one.
Yeah, no,
okay.
I just don't.
Yeah, but they tell him, you have to go back and tell your governments that they have to stop using atomic weaponry. Also, fuck yeah, Hitler. And so he did, and they swore him to secrecy. The government swore him to secrecy because this was just too deep. And that is 100% true, obviously.
So which expedition was this?
This was one.
Because apparently he did. Looking it up, he did several. There were only 2 post-World War.
Okay, well, one of them was to the, I believe, North Pole.
These are his Antarctic.
Okay. Well, in the journal it says he flew into the North Pole hole.
He's never gone to the North
Pole.
No,
No, he hasn't. You see where this is going here, buddy?
This is all. He's like, he made multiple trips to Antarctica, 2 of which were after the war.
And do you know why that is? Because there's a fucking continent there.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a place for there to be a hole.
Yeah, that's the other point is, and North Pole hole would just be full of water.
Yeah, it'd just all the water would fall in.
There's just ice and water there.
I can't explain to you how much of a headache I get talking about
sure there could be a hole through the ice to the But I'm pretty sure, I don't think it's solid all the way down, and even at the North Pole, I'm pretty sure there's some water.
Yeah, no, there's water under
ground.
the ice cap. It's cold, but it's there.
Submarine.
Yeah, submarines go under there all the fucking time.
Came up at the North Pole before, right?
Yeah, that happened.
But of course, you can't trust the government to tell the truth about this.
Yeah, I know, it's insane. But anyway, so that happens. Mm-hmm. That's a book that was released that people were apparently expected to believe by whoever wrote this. So let's talk for a minute about the something that's tangentially related. All right. Mm-hmm. Because it involves people living underground, not in the hollow earth, though. And I just feel like this needed to be brought up during this because I'm fascinated by the story. It's insane. Mike, are you familiar with the lost continent of Lemuria, or Mu?
I have heard of it, know a little bit about the insane ramblings. You've talked about it before.
All right. Now, let me start off by saying that Atlantis, which in our Things That Are Not episode, I talked about how I do not believe in the lost continent of Atlantis. Right?
Wouldn't... Yeah, a continent being lost, that's a lot of shit to lose, but, maybe a small island.
Or socks.
Well, I'm just saying if it was an island.
Yeah. Okay.
I could see that.
Anyway, the origins of the story of Atlantis, like we talked about, go back to Plato. Mm-hmm. And it's popular. Mostly, it was an allegory. It was a political allegory. Lemuria is maybe 150 years old as a concept.
Mu
was come up with as a name because it sounded more esoteric than Lemuria. Do you know where the name Lemuria came from, Mike?
The local bookstore?
We do, in fact, have a local bookstore called Lemuria, but it came from lemurs. See, the idea was they were trying to figure... This is before the concept of continental drift came about.
The lost civilization of lemurs.
That would be so adorable. Can you imagine an entire civilization of these adorable little ringtail lemurs jumping around just... me. I love that, dude. So... Anyway, the continent of Lemuria was before the idea of plate tectonics came about. The idea of the shifting plates and, okay, you're gonna have to forgive me. What's the name of the big continent? Pangea.
Yeah.
All right, before all that was a thing, before everybody figured that out.
Yeah.
The theory was that there was once, they found lemurs, the remains of prehistoric lemurs in South America and in Africa. And instead of looking at those continents and going, well, those motherfuckers fit together real well, a scientist decided, well, there was obviously a land bridge. And with that much space, it was probably a land continent joining the two. And maybe lemurs swam. I don't know. Point is, the idea was that there was some kind of a land bridge that allowed animals to cross from one continent to the other, and then at some point it sank. All right? I mean, like, if you think that the continents are exactly where they've always been, it's not a terrible theory.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, well, I mean, if this is a land bridge, it allowed lemurs to go from one continent to the other. I'm just going to call it Lemuria, which... I personally didn't know lemurs were fucking migratory, but here we are.
Well, I mean, pretty much any animal is, right?
Are they?
Oh.
I find it hard
given enough, environmental pressure, yes.
I don't know. I just find it hard to believe.
If your food source is moving...
Sloths might
follow the food source. I mean, it would be a very slow migration.
Actually, you know what? You say that there's one animal on the face of this earth that I think if its food source died, it would the whole population would starve to death. You know what that is, Mike?
Koalas.
Yes.
Yeah, that was...
Fucking stupid ass, evolutionarily beaten koalas.
I was just telling you the other day about how terrible of an animal the koala is.
That's exactly why I said that. Koalas would just let themselves die. There would be no koala Lemuria. All right, there's no koala land bridge leading to Australia. It's just like some failure happened with the koalas, Mike.
And also, there might not have exactly been migratory. It could have been just the continent split right down the middle of their habitat.
Okay.
So they just slowly got separated.
You gotta keep them separated. So, all right, that's where Lemuria comes from. Idea is not even 200 years old. But people that did not realize this latched onto the idea and decided that this is one of the great antediluvian societal birthplaces. Because God knows it can't be brown people. I'm just saying, like, given the choice of it being between the Tigris and the Euphrates, and it being anyone that's not white people will make up a fucking continent. All right. So we make up this fucking, and it's like Atlantis. Okay, here's the deal. Atlantis, technologically advanced. Lemuria was spiritually advanced.
Well, to go back to something you just said.
Okay.
I'd like to give a wake-up call to all you honkies and crackers out there. We're all African. It's just a matter of when our ancestors left.
We just genetically turned pale, and that just happened to work for us.
It's the fucking cradle of civilization.
Exactly.
We all came from there. Wrap your head around that.
All right. So, Lemurians were advanced, and of course, with the Lemuria sinking, they were technologically advanced, but they were also like spiritually advanced. So
they have GPS. Do they have TikTok? They're not that advanced.
I kind of think TikTok might not be the best metric for advancement in civilization.
I didn't mean civilization. I just meant technology.
Oh, well, like maybe they had a TikTok, but it was like, look, I can levitate these rocks with my telekinesis. Oh! And then...
And look, your next door neighbor can teleport those rocks and, I don't know, climb up a stack of milk crates at the same time.
Oh my God. Oh, I watched too many people get fucking brain damage from that today. So, Lemurians. Advanced. Psychic.
It's always psychic.
I'm going to give you before we even get to where I'm going with this, I'm going to give you a physical description of Lemurians. All right? Mm-hmm. 8 feet tall.
But played a lot of basketball. Check.
Like graceful and thin. So, gangly honkies.
So, keep going.
With a third eye in the middle of their foreheads. And they all had the same hair, which was short in the front and long in the back. Mike, they had mullets.
So what you're talking about, what you're describing is very tall albino NBA players that were also Hindu with mullets.
And when I say third eye, I mean a physical third eye. I don't mean like a dot or a spiritual third eye. I mean a literal third fucking eye in their forehead.
They had no frontal cortex then.
I don't know. I can't tell you that because I don't know. I wasn't there.
But to have an eye there means you're missing brain in that area, because
maybe their heads were bigger.
That means they had a completely different brain structure, so therefore they weren't human.
We're getting there. Believe it or not, we're getting there. These were the original inhabitants of Earth. Now, the Lemurians when the continent sank, not all of them died. A colony of about 200 to 300 fled into a cavern under Mount Shasta in California. Northern California.
Okay.
And there they remain to this day as the Ascended Masters. Now, the ones that did not follow them into this subterranean cavern under Mount Shasta, which I can only imagine is near, like, Sam's Choice River and Fago Hill. I love just... Anyway, you get the idea. So, the Lemurians that did not flee with them to Mount Shasta, do you know what they did, Mike? Do you know what became of these other Lemurians? They fucked animals and gave birth to humanity.
Like what kind of animals?
Cats, dogs, wildebeest, doesn't matter. Just fucking, they just saw animals and were like, hell yeah, I'm gonna hit that shit. And the offspring are us. I'm sure that this somehow delves into twisted racist theories on where Asians came from.
So this sounds like a very long roundabout way to say, no, I'm not descended from monkeys, which...
I'm descended from...
Get fucking over it. You're not descended from super advanced super beings.
Mike, I want you to just... This just popped into my head. I want to put this in there and see how you react. I want you to picture Triclops from He-Man fucking a horse.
No.
I'm sorry. Like, that's... After I described him, I was like, holy shit, dude.
But he had eyes spread around his head.
And that is so much cooler.
On a rotating ring.
I don't know how that works.
But anyway.
Yeah.
So, where did they come from?
Where did what come from?
The Lemurians.
I don't fucking know. Probably Mars or something.
Where did they evolve from?
I don't know. Martians or marshmallows. I really don't know. The theory I was reading did not go into that. I'm assuming they were aliens.
They just sprung fully formed from...
out of the fucking dirt.
The bullshittium ether.
Out of the bullshittium ether combined with dirt and diamonds. I don't know. Actually, I think you may have just added to esoteric knowledge with that. And that's sad. So, the reason I bring this up is because apparently the Lemurians, being nearly immortal, are still there under Mount Shasta. And people are guided to them psychically to try to save the world, of course, from atomic bombs. It's always nuclear weapons.
If it's not Nazis.
If it's not Nazis, a nuclear weapon. Actually, I don't know, man. I'm getting kind of confused by what exactly we're supposed to be taking away from this. So just
Mount Shasta hollow, or is the whole Earth hollow?
Yes, because the Lemurians also had an underground subway network.
Okay.
And the trains could travel 2,000 miles an hour.
Powered by their own farts.
That's the only thing I can think of, is that they're just farting into tubes and these trains just take the fuck off. All right, so that's I just really felt like we needed to get Mount Shasta out there because holy fuck. The other thing is, and this is something I'm going to talk about in a later episode, is, Mike, are you familiar with the Count Saint Germain?
Yes, I've seen Castlevania.
Okay.
The anime.
Right. Well, the quote-unquote actual Count Saint Germain was an immortal, which I guess he was a Highlander.
He also made some pretty decent elderflower liqueur.
Yes, he did. So they say that he lives in Mount Shasta now with the Ascended Master Lemurians.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Sure. Why
yeah.
not?
So, like I said, tangentially
why not
related.
also have, like, Mickey Mouse lived there too, and Captain Kirk.
And fucking Warren Zevon died and was reincarnated as an ascended master there.
Sure.
Yeah, now he's 8 feet tall with 3 eyes, and he's singing Splendid Isolation because he wants to get the fuck away from all of them.
And having jam sections with Freddie Mercury. And
Freddie's just sitting there just belting out the best songs of his life because he's 8 feet tall and the reverberations are just amazing. So now that we have covered one of the dumbest things I've ever said,
yeah, I'm
gonna say some stuff that's even dumber, Mike.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about a fellow. I want to say his name was Shriver.
Shriver?
No, I don't have the book with me right now. But so this guy was kind of creative, wanted to be a writer. Born in 1907, and his brother died while he was working at an automotive plant. And he said he skipped town and went on an adventure and was put in prison for a number of years. Now, I want to say that Shearer is the guy's name, I believe. He was actually in an insane asylum, like legitimately in an insane asylum. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Like, you can look this dude up and find that, yes, he was. Anyway, he says that he was rescued by a beautiful psychic woman from prison, and he went underground and met her and learned of the existence of the Tarot and the Darrow. The Tarot being heroic goblin-looking people, except for this chick he was screwing. They all look like goblins except her. And the Darrow were horrible demon creatures. All of them descended from this one alien species that came to Earth, of course. And they live underground. And he spent 8 years in the subterranean world learning about all this and fighting the resistance against the Darrow, who kidnapped humans and tortured them and ate them and fed on them psychically. Always psychically, Mike.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's more exciting.
Is it exciting or is it just a cop-out?
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad we were able to figure that out.
Because feeding on someone physically is kind of icky, so you gotta do it psychically.
Well, no, they're feeding on them physically too.
Well.
But they feed on them psychically first and then eat them. Mm. Yeah, the Shaver mystery. It's Shaver. I'm sorry, I'm looking at it right now. Now, Shaver, during all this stuff, is, like I said, fighting the good fight with his beautiful companion and all the other members of her species that look like fucking D&D goblins. Until the Darrow capture and kill all of them except for Shaver, who manages to escape. And the Darrow were, of course, using like all this advanced technology to do all this stuff. Using rays. You know, like Stardust the Super Wizard.
Yes.
Right, so he escapes and makes his way back to civilization, gets married, has some kids, and then starts writing all this stuff down and sending it into Amazing Stories. You remember the TV show Amazing Stories?
Yeah.
Based on the magazine.
Yeah.
All right, so this stuff gets published and it goes over kind of well, but like it gets more and more sexual until finally Amazing Stories fires the fucking editor that picked this guy up and is like, get the fuck out. People are sick of this shit. So the guy goes, gets another job publishing at another publishing company, Fate magazine. And he publishes one story by Shaver. And they're like, no, we're not doing this again. But this guy firmly believed that he went to actual hell underground, full of alien devices, goblins, and demons. And even the people that believe this happened are like, yeah, no, we think that might have been a psychic experience, because holy shit, this is fucked up, dude. Like, seriously. Even the people that believe him are like, maybe not. Just think about that for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, your believers are like, you're out of your mind. This is like when the imaginary voices in your head are like, hey man, you might need to get on some medication. I just love the idea of this whole thing, that this guy went down there and fought for 8 years, like, and nobody missed him?
Yeah, he can't disappear for 8 years and
nobody said a thing. Like, he just walked off his job at the assembly line and they're like, yeah, fuck that guy. We don't care. So, we've talked about this. I mean, this story in particular is like, there's too much of it to just cover. You know? There's like hundreds of stories he wrote about this. Oh, and the title of this whole series was called I Remember Lemuria. Lemuria being the ancient name for Earth, apparently, instead of just a continent, because, you know, whatever.
sure, why not?
Yeah, fuck it. None of it's real anyway. So, we've talked about some specific stories, but I'd like to talk about some other versions of the Hollow Earth story.
You know what I'm not hearing about from Hollow Earth stories that you're telling?
What's that?
Motherfucking dinosaurs.
You know what? Here's the thing. There's a whole bunch of stories saying... I mean, I think the mammoths are about as close as we've come to dinosaurs. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of people that have written stories about it. But, I mean, I don't think there's any, like... I almost said I don't think there's any scientific evidence that there are dinosaurs in the Hollow Earth. But I don't think anybody actually said there were.
There's no...
In the literature?
Yeah,
There's no stories about them.
Yes.
But it's fun.
In the lore, there are no references to dinosaurs.
Yeah.
In the Hollow Earth.
In the Hollow
you know
Earth
what I say to that?
In the Hollow Earth 40K lore.
You know what I have to say to that?
What's that?
Bullshit. You're coming up with all this shit. You're putting Nazis down there. Why aren't you putting dinosaurs down there?
Yeah.
I mean, are you that unimaginative?
Now, Mike, I believe earlier in our series you spoke about something involving the Hollow Earth.
Because that's where fucking Nessie came from. It's a plesiosaur from the Hollow Earth.
All right. Well, I don't agree with that. I'm going to say that is the most scientifically fucking plausible thing that has been brought up so far. And that is sad as hell, dude.
Was Hitler in the Hollow Earth?
Here's the thing. Some people say he was, but other people say he just went to Antarctica to the Nazi base to set up like the German fuck colony.
Wasn't there there was the part 2 of that?
Iron
Nazi,
Sky?
Yeah, Iron Sky.
Iron Sky, yeah. It's about the Hollow Earth.
Hitler riding a dinosaur, or a Tyrannosaurus Rex in the Hollow Earth.
Not just Hitler. It was lizard people Hitler riding a dinosaur in the Hollow Earth. A T-Rex in the Hollow Earth. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I notice you didn't actually react to me saying the Nazi fuck colonies.
Well, I mean...
Which were shot into space.
Well, I mean, they're just an outreach of the regular Nazi fuck colonies.
Sure, that's fair.
I mean...
The rest of them, of course, went underground, but they did. Thing. Now, did you know that these Nazi fuck colonies, they had like the biggest breasted, most beautiful Nazi women had pigtails so they could psychically communicate?
Wait, what?
Yeah. I said it.
It's just because it's cute and it's not psychic. It's everything has to be psychic, you stupid motherfuckers. Stop.
Stop with the psychic.
Stop shoehorning psychic and
It's
everything.
always psychic.
It's not a psychic fucking gun. It's not a psychic. Goddamn motherfucker! I'm gonna kick your ass.
I'm sorry. I love you getting worked up over this. So let's talk for a second about two alternative versions of the Hollow Earth theory, because God knows it can't just be a Hollow Earth.
Can we stop saying theory and just start saying fairy tale?
Concept.
Theory.
The Hollow Earth concept.
Theory denotes
the
rigor and
there's no science involved here.
Experimentation and proving.
Well, okay. Let's start with the more believable of the two. And I use that term real goddamn loose. The convex Hollow Earth.
Yeah.
We're on the inside, Mike.
How's that more believable?
I mean, compared to the one I'm following it up with.
Well, the fact that we live on, I think the most believable one would be we live on the outside, and the Hollow Earth is, a separate region on the inside.
I know, but I'm talking about like between the two alternatives that I'm bringing up of the Hollow Earth concept. The first is that we live. I'm sorry, we basically live in a small Dyson sphere. Yes. With a small sun, a small moon, and on some level, Hitler believed that this was true because he did try to get some of his scientists, allegedly, to build a giant telescope to look straight up so he could spy on England on the other side of the interior.
See, you mentioned something this because I jokingly said this very thing.
Mm-hmm.
The flat, hollow Earth.
No. That's the next one.
But I'm saying when we originally were talking about this, I brought up the flat, hollow Earth as a joke. And you're like, no. There's a thing.
That's a thing.
I was like, it's the flat Earth, but it just wraps around.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. See, that is the convex Hollow Earth theory, that we live on the inside.
Then there's no Hollow Earth. There's nothing below the ground.
That does bring up the question: if we're on the inside, what happens if you break the crust? Do we all get sucked out?
Well,
what's on it? Here's the thing: is the Hollow Earth still orbiting a sun?
So, realistically,
is it turtles all the way down, Mike?
It depends on the size of the hole, and other factors. Because really, I mean, sure, there would be like, so it depends on what's on the other side too, because
that's what I'm asking. What would be on the other side of
is our are you talking about our gravity is caused just by like the spinning, or is the gravity a factor of the ground? If the gravity is a property of the ground, then the other side obviously will have gravity. And I'm sorry,
this is actually the concave Earth model. My bad, not convex.
Because convex would be us living on the outside.
Which is bullshit, of course, obviously. We obviously live on the inside. I don't know. Would it need this? I guess...
So here's the thing, like...
How the fuck does the sky work?
Well, no. So, in a Dyson sphere type thing...
I don't think it's meant to be that big.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not
theory.
Not a star-centric Dyson sphere, but a smaller form. I mean, really, a sphere... So, halo makes more sense in that case, because so you think of, having how you would basically stick to the ground, right? You either have two things. It's either gravity effect or centripetal force, right?
Yeah.
If it was centripetal force, then you would only be able to live in a band around the actual sphere, because once you start going to
the poles, it's not
less and less.
Yeah, no, I get that.
If it's a function of the it's like super dense material in the crust beneath your feet, well, then the opposite side will have gravity too, which could also have an atmosphere, which is just basically just a reverse of the hollow earth. So the regular hollow earth says we're on the outside and there's stuff on the inside. Well, this would be us on the inside when there's got to be something on the outside, I guess. Maybe that's where the dinosaurs are.
On the outside
of the concave hollow earth. Yes.
So you're just reversing the whole idea.
Yeah, that's all the theory is doing, is reversing the idea. It's like saying that instead of us living on the outside in the convex hollow earth, we're on the concave. Because either way, just your point of view. If you're on the inside, the hollow earth is concave.
Mike, I think I've just gone cross-eyed.
If you're on the outside, the hollow earth is convex, right?
Yeah.
All right, next on to the next one. What were you going to say?
What even is Earth?
There was two.
Yeah. Okay. The other one. It kind of requires you to believe in another crackpot theory, which is the flat Earth.
So it's the flat hollow Earth.
Yes.
So the Earth is basically like a puff pastry.
It's like a pot pie, but with no filling.
Well, I'm saying it's a puff pastry, because it has the gaps in it.
See, I still like my idea of maybe it's like stuffed crust and only around the edge, but yes, basically that it's like dual layered flat Earth.
It's like a sopapilla.
What is that?
It's a Mexican dessert that's like hollow, and you like poke a hole in it and put honey in it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sounds neat. But yeah, the basic idea is that several someones have been capable of holding both the idea of the Earth being flat and hollow at the same time. I wish I had a joke to follow this, but it fucking hurts my brain so bad.
I think you have to be like a special kind of stupid to believe in that.
You have got... Who hurt you so bad that this is what your brain did to cope?
To believe in the flat, hollow Earth.
Yeah, like not only is the Earth flat, but it's like it's like an apartment complex with somebody living on the floor below us.
God, that would suck.
Wouldn't it though?
Would we be like really bad neighbors? Would
we are all the worst neighbors. Oh my God, yeah. An underground nuclear test is like somebody fucking setting a cherry bomb off
in the toilet.
Drilling a hole in their floor and setting a cherry bomb off right on top of your roof. That would suck. And I'm guessing that whatever people think is in the hollow Earth is in the hollow flat Earth as well. So probably like dinosaurs, Nazis, and...
Okay, so here's an interesting question. In the hollow flat Earth, you're here. Say you're here on the surface.
Okay.
You dig down. You break into the hollow section. Where are the trees? Are the trees on this what you would perceive as the ceiling or the floor?
Here's the thing, man. Usually in the flat Earth, they're on the they're like on the crust of the Earth, but pointing toward the center. Like gravity reverses.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, we've figured that out. In the Hollow flat Earth, I can't wrap my brain around that.
Is it like you saying it's just like apartments, floors, like the next level down is just another floor where...
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, like the ceiling maybe... And I don't have any kind of research to back this up because apparently the people that came up with this were so embarrassed they have basically wiped it off the internet to the best of their abilities.
Both flat Earth and hollow Earth people do not respect the hollow flat Earth people. This is fucking
bullshit that nobody wants this. Yeah. So I like to think that if it's a thing, maybe there's like bioluminescent shit on the ceiling of the hollow flat Earth.
Yeah.
So there's the sky, and at night it like dims.
So I just had a thought.
Is it mist?
It's not about the hollow Earth, but it's about the flat Earth.
Uh-oh.
So the flat Earth, right? We're living on the surface of basically a disc.
Mm-hmm. We're basically living on top of a pizza.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So what's on the other side? Is there a whole nother world over there that we know nothing about?
No. You can't do that. Remember? Why not? Because it's like living on a spinning ball in the sky. You can stay on. You'd fall off.
But no, if we can stick to this side, surely something can stick to the other side.
No. Gravity.
But gravity.
I know what you're thinking. You have to take science out of this. Their argument is that we're being pulled down onto the plate, and whatever's on the bottom of the plate would have fallen off.
But that's not how gravity works.
I know that. You know that.
Gravity would make anything on the other side of the plate stick to that side, too.
I know. But here's a question. What's holding it up?
Well, it's not...
Is it turtles all the way down?
No, it's a pizza floating in space, because they admit that things float in space because the planets float.
Yeah, they say, no, planets are spheres. Earth isn't a planet.
Yeah, it's a special
snowflake. It's
pizza.
A snowflake that God made.
Pizza. I think these people just really like pizzas.
I don't know, man. It just confuses me. And when you combine the two, it makes even less sense.
So wait. So if on the flat Earth, it's bordered by an ice wall, right? That's the crust.
You're right. That's what they say. Pizza. It is a fucking pizza. It's fucking... God damn it. Fuck. The oceans are just fucking tomato sauce. Yep. Mike. Or sausage.
Or pepperonis. The fat people are pepperonis.
So we're pepperoni.
Maybe some people are mushrooms.
I'm a mushroom.
Trees are mushrooms.
I'm a mushroom.
I think you're more like an onion.
I'm an anchovy.
No, you're
I'm salty as shit right now. I'm an anchovy.
We're a cheap frozen pizza.
Uh-huh.
You're one of those little anise seeds that taste like licorice when you bite them.
Fuck, I hate those. All right, Mike. Now that we've talked about the flat Earth ideas, let's review this stupidity for a second. We have determined that inside the flat Earth there are one of four things.
Or the hollow Earth.
The hollow Earth, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now that we've talked about the hollow Earth, there are one of four things living inside the hollow Earth.
Multiples of those four things.
Well, dinosaurs.
Well, which aren't supported in the text, but...
No, but, I mean, it's way cooler. So, dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
Nazis.
Yes.
Ascended Masters.
Sure.
And Ascended Master Nazis.
Okay, what about dinosaur Nazis?
Ooh, how about dinosaur Ascended Master Nazis? Could be any combination of those four things, but definitely somewhere in there.
What about troglodytes?
Well, that's in the hell part. Yeah. And that, of course, was by a guy in a mental institution. It's obviously bullshit.
Yes.
So, let me ask your thoughts on the whole Hollow Earth thing now that we've covered this. Tell me
Now that I've been shown the way and the light of the hollow earth.
Now that I have opened up your brain, shat in it, and closed it again with this information.
You haven't changed a damn thing.
I know. But what do you think would lead a modern human to believe this? Like, why would you do this?
I ask myself that question every day. Why do people believe this? Why? Why do people take animal dewormers instead of getting the vaccine? Why? Why do people believe that the earth could be hollow?
Why do people believe the earth could be flat? Any number of these questions, yeah.
Why do people believe anything?
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, the same 1 to 10 you gave me way back in the opposite day episode. Mm-hmm. 1 being complete and utter bullshit of possibility, and 10 being, yes, absolutely, I believe this wholeheartedly, this must be true. Mm-hmm. Where do you put the hollow earth?
8.
What?
I'm just kidding. -8.
-8. Okay, so less than 1.
Yeah, no, it has no. I mean, it's negative possibility of existing.
It's completely impossible. Now, we're not saying that there couldn't be like caverns.
Yeah.
Deep within the crust of the earth.
You never know. One day we might have to like dig down into the earth to restart the core with nuclear weapons.
Oh, Jesus God. Oh my God. And we saw that on IMAX.
It's the first movie we ever saw on IMAX. And it was that stinker.
I am not proud of that. So, all right. So no possibility whatsoever.
I mean, like I said, it has negative possibility. It's like, it's not even worth considering. It's not even worth debating or.
But Mike, studying. The holes at the poles
don't exist.
I know.
I mean, you have to. It's not like a thing that you have to consider and think, well, maybe, like, there's a lot of things that, you know, are out there, but this, like the flat earth, you have to take so much of human knowledge, human advancement, human understanding, and throw it out the window and just, like, say, nah, everything we learned from, like, 800 BC, not BC, but, 800 AD, all that math advancement, everything.
Fuck it.
I don't mean anything.
Just fuck it.
What all the Greeks were able to measure, the Egyptians were able to measure the curvature of the earth. No, that doesn't matter. They're all lying.
Not a bit. It's all bullshit. On the plus side, if this is true, if this were true, it does mean that there are no aliens, just Germans.
Yeah. Well, that's only... I mean, there should still be aliens. I mean, only the concave hollow earth would mean that.
Oh, and
what are the planets? Just like floating specks up near the sun?
Just rocks.
Yeah.
Just fucking marbles floating around in the center. Mm-hmm. Now, what keeps them up? I don't know.
Well, gravity's only... barely works, so.
Oh yeah, it only goes about like what, 12, 13 feet up. Strings.
Yeah.
Strings hold them up.
Yep.
Well, anyway, we don't have any questions this week.
You're letting me down.
Yeah, come on, people.
I am disappointed.
Mike is disappointed. Head to supernaturalselectionpod.com. Click the contact button, fill out the form, give us some questions, or follow the link on the site to our new Discord server. Yes, we have entered the virtuality world with our Discord server. You can hop in, talk. There is actually a question room where you can ask questions, and we will answer them on the show. Again, try to be brief, and we will answer you as best we can.
Kevin, I have a question for you.
Okay, what's your question?
Out of all the cryptid stuff you know, what, and according to, not what you believe, but what they say out there, everything that they say about all these things, what, if anything, would you like to actually meet or see?
That includes like aliens and ghosts and Bigfoot and all that stuff.
But it has to be based, their representation, or what you meet would be based on their representation in
the literature. You know what? I'm going to go with the Greys.
Really?
Yeah. They eat strawberry ice cream. I can get with that.
You wouldn't be afraid they'd probe you?
You know what? They take one look at my horrible hemorrhoided butt and be like, no thanks, you can go.
It might be, unexplored, amazing territory for him.
You know what? I'm willing to wager that out of all this time, the whole reason they don't pick up older people is because they had one bad incident with a hemorrhoid. And they're just like, ew, gross, not again, no more, goodbye. So, yeah.
You're not saying you wouldn't, you're saying you wouldn't be like super freaked out and maybe die of a heart attack?
I didn't say that. I just said if I had to meet one, it'd be the Greys.
All right.
How about you?
I don't know. I mean...
You want to meet Bigfoot, wouldn't you?
No, I don't know. It seems kind of smelly.
Well, yeah, they're called the Concave for a reason. Well, how about a ghost?
I don't know. If I met a ghost, I think it would rock too much of my...
Aliens.
My, belief system that I might crawl into a, fetal ball and have to be admitted to a mental hospital.
So aliens.
I don't know. I didn't.
You honestly didn't expect me to turn this back around on you?
No, not really, no.
Wow. Okay, well, you know what? You're going to have to think about that and get back to me next time then.
I guess so.
All right. Well, no idea what's coming next week. Actually, I say that and I'm a freaking liar. Next week, we're going to have Clark Wayne back on the show. And again, we're going to be discussing Hollywood. Hollyweird. Creeple, as it were. But, thank you everyone for your understanding on us having a week or two off there. I've been a little under the weather. My throat, you can probably hear it's a little raspy right now, especially from talking this much. But anyway, I want to thank everyone for your support over the last several months of doing this show. It has been fantastic. I really appreciate it. We're going to keep going and got a lot of fun stuff to talk about in the future. I also want to thank Kick-Assatron for his generous gift of a whole crap load of cryptid buttons I got in the mail today. That was awesome. And if you would like to support the show, there's a donate link on supernaturalselectionpod.com. If you would like to get in touch with us, you can use the contact button at said website, or you can hit us up on Twitter at SuperNatPod. We have a Facebook page. If you would like to come and like that, I do updates there as well occasionally and share stuff. And Mike is out there as Skeptical Mike at supernaturalselectionpod.com. Send him your questions or thoughts. Mike, as always, thank you for being on the show. You are awesome, and I'm glad you're here.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, that is about it. So we'll see you next week. So until then, everybody stay frosty. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Supernatural Selection has been a production of DeviantBehaviorRadio.com. You can find it and more shows broadcast weekly at DeviantBehaviorRadio.com. Our theme music is Screensaver by Kevin MacLeod. It is used through Creative Commons license, and more of his music can be found at incompetech.filmmusic.io.